This is year 4 now for the G League Ignite, and I believe they're 2-19 this season. I'm curious, kind of, what's been the overall evaluation as you're
Damn, that G League Ignite, that program is not looking good.
as you guys entered into this sort of academy process with Ignite, and as image and likeness money only increases in amateur sports, what's sort of the NBA's appetite to kind of keep up with the Joneses, I guess, on that front?
It's an important question, I think, where we're going in terms of youth basketball. At the time that we formed Team Ignite, I think I was very public about the fact that I favored going to a minimum age of 18 instead of 19.
Which makes sense, but the culture and the way these young players are being developed in AAU, elite overtime, all this highlight culture that exists, it doesn't really translate into the NBA. You got young kids now playing in leagues where they're pointing at cameras. Everyone has a highlight reel. There's grown adults that have full-time jobs just recording these guys and being the cameraman. That's the cool thing. This shit is weird. Everything about the amateur circuit is really about just winning, maintaining your sponsorships, and flying in the most athletic players from different parts of the region to play for 2 to 3 teams in the same fucking tournament. So accepting 18-year-olds coming into the league, it might not be the best thing when you see the culture that they're coming from.
As we sat down with our players to discuss that, and then essentially the college market changed, the introduction of collectives, NIL, the transfer portal, a lot changed around us. And then we came to a consensus when we sat down with the players and our teams that we were better off staying at 19. And I'd say also some of the societal concerns that were driving us to move to 18, that there seemed to be an unfairness that these players, even at the highest level, couldn't earn a living in college basketball.
Silver has one hell of a poker face, especially with his words, man. At the end of the day, a lot of corruption was going on in the NCAA. A lot of schools were getting caught paying people under the table. And the headlines will always read, current NBA player got caught up in such and such scandal with his college team. And from a PR standpoint, it always tied in the NBA somehow, even though they weren't involved. It became glaring when you seen the large contract amounts that ESPN was paying to host some of these games, and so many schools were caught giving money underneath the table. It just became a total clusterfuck. And the NBA did not want to expose themselves to that sort of branding on some of the brand new players coming into the league.
And we, the league and the Player Association together, were preventing them from doing that. I think sort of that dissipated because all of a sudden this great economic opportunity presented itself through these various programs at college. I think given that that's happened, I think we are in the process of reassessing Team Ignite, because now some of those same players who didn't want to be one-and-done players because they felt it was unfair and they wanted the ability not just to earn a living playing basketball, but to do commercial deals that weren't available to them at college, to hire professional agents, and an opportunity that wasn't available to them at college. They now, all of those same opportunities have become available to them.
Come on, Silver, you said everything that benefited the players except what they really want. They want to get into the NBA. Silver is framing this like the players just wanted to make money. No, they wanted to get into the fucking league. And we've seen with the most talented players on the highest level coming out of Ignite, guys like Scoot Henderson, Jalen Green, Jonathan Kuminga, they all have entered into the league and there really hasn't been much of an impact. And those are the high-end players coming out of the Ignite program. But when we start going down the tier, you look at Dante Daniels out in New Orleans, 8th overall pick. He's a great defender, but there's no real impact. 6 points per game coming off the bench, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and he can't really shoot. He shoots average from the field and also 25% from 3. So the impact has been very minimal for guys coming out of there. You can also look at Jaden Hardy. He had multiple scholarship offers to D1 schools. Then he opted out to Ignite. He fell out of the first round to the 37th pick, and now he's backing up Luka and he just gets 15 minutes a game, even though he has flashes here and there, but he has yet to make an impact. And we're seeing a growing trend where players who denied multiple Division I scholarships and joined Ignite sort of get stuck in this purgatory of just being in between the G League and the NBA with no path forward. You could look at Isaiah Todd. He's been playing for G League Ignite for 3 years, and when he had his moment to play for the Washington Wizards, a team that was already a losing team, he had very little impact. He shot 22% from the field and 19% from three, averaging 1 point per game and 1 rebound. And this is a guy with multiple Division I scholarship offers and an all McDonald's American. And this outcome just does not happen for the American players. A lot of international players have joined Ignite only to end up going back to their country and playing for local teams. But the reason why players join Ignite is to make it into the NBA, which is the only thing Adam Silver in his press conference did not state. But making the NBA is a much more difficult path than most of these players coming up think. It's still a league of basketball players who are 1%ers of all basketball players in the world, even guys that are on the bench. And legendary players like LeBron James, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, or any other Hall of Famer, they're almost 0.0001% of that 1%. That's how hard it is to make it in the league. And unfortunately for G League Ignite, if the players don't make it into the league, there's no other pathway for them but to remain in purgatory. And it's not a good look for Adam Silver and the NBA if they have all these young guys who are all McDonald's American players and who have multiple Division I scholarships to have no other alternative route. Because had they taken their scholarship offers and went to college, at least they had another pathway of making something for themselves. So Silver, speaking on the beginning phases of ending that program, is also reevaluating this league because it looks bad from a PR perspective. You got a bunch of young kids who had a chance to go to college. Now they're stuck in NBA purgatory while chasing a dream almost endlessly and making average salary money. So just like how the NBA take credit for guys coming up and getting developed and making it into the league, they're gonna have to take credit for the guys who don't. And man, Jalen Green, Scoot Henderson, Jonathan Kuminga, Dyson Daniels, they really haven't had that much impact into the league. And those are the top prospects coming out of Ignite. So you can only imagine the players that are tiers below them. And even though the NBA had unlimited resources to make Ignite a more developmental program, they still somewhat follow the same formula of AAU and other youth basketball programs by not emphasizing winning. These kids are just playing in a bunch of games where they just have to showcase themselves. So G League Ignite in a way is almost a glorified overtime / AAU / EYBL league. The only difference is that they have NBA affiliations. Evaluations on what type of development approach they should take definitely should be reconsidered. A very insightful press conference with Adam Silver. Media members asked a lot of great questions. And Adam Silver kept a great poker face. The wording was very well crafted. And there's definitely a lot of things the league has sitting on their table that they need to address. Silver is doing a hell of a job so far. Rome definitely was not built in a day. Until next time, you fellas stay safe. Peace.